It's surprising how much someone can change their face and still expect people to see them as the same person inside. Meghan Markle has always been careful about how she looks in public, but lately the changes are almost like she's turning herself into a totally different person. The Meghan who once proudly talked about her Markle nose, even thanking her dad for it in a sweet Father's Day post, is gone. Now her nose looks smaller, more lifted. The bridge is smoother, and the tip is shorter. It's a completely different shape. And it's not just the nose. You can see there's filler in her jawline, in her cheeks, even near her hairline, all placed carefully to pull her face upward. It's like that thing people do in the mirror when they pull their skin up to see how they'd look with a lifted face. Except hers stays that way because it's been filled and shaped. What's interesting is why she's doing it. On the outside, sure, it could just be cosmetic maintenance, but if you look deeper, it feels more like she's trying to separate herself from her past. That old post to her father wasn't just about Father's Day, it was about who she was. She connected her nose and her looks to her dad, to a working class life, to a version of herself that wasn't yet polished into Hollywood royalty. Now, it feels like she's using surgery to remove any sign of that connection. It's not just a beauty change, it's a total rebrand. The timing of these changes says almost as much as the changes themselves. Her public circle is now very small, and the people still around her seem more like PR partners than real friends. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Birthday is a perfect example. The place. Dinner at a Beverly Hills restaurant that's known, but not the hottest place anymore. Bunky, an Italian place with a decent rating and a Michelin guide mention, but not a Michelin star. The kind of place an influencer might tag, not someone at the top of Hollywood. Even more awkward, she didn't get a table on the rooftop, the most desired spot in the place, which says a lot about her current status. She posted about the night like it was a big deal, thanking family for making it special. But when you really look who was actually there, not her dad, not her mom. Doria, who seems to have stepped away from Meghan's daily life. Not even Harry, who's strangely missing from both the dinner and any recent public time with her. Instead, the photos show her with just a few guests. The camera angles are carefully chosen to hide others at the table. The whole event feels controlled, not in a glamorous way, but in a way that hides more than it shows. And then there are the birthday messages she posted. They read less like real friend notes and more like PRA-approved scripts. Everyone says the same kind of things, calling her fun, generous, magical, like they were all told the same talking points. There's almost no personal touch, no inside jokes, no warmth that makes you believe these are honest feelings. It's the kind of planned promotion you'd expect for a product launch, not a birthday. Which leads back to the bigger picture. Meghan has been replacing the personal with the staged for years. But the more her face changes, the more you can see the gap between her image and her real life. Her face is smoother, sharper, more even than ever. But the life behind it feels smaller, less family, fewer real friends, and based on the details she shares, maybe fewer people she really trusts. The surgeries and fillers might give her the high-class look she wants, but they can't fill the empty seats at her table. The changes to her nose are the easiest to see, but they're not the only work she's had done. If you look closely, you can see the structure of her face has been rebuilt in small layers. Cheek filler has created that high, smooth line from her temples down to the apples of her cheeks, removing the natural hollows she once had. Filler in her jawline has squared it just enough to look sharper in photos, and the skin along her lower face looks pulled without showing the clear signs of a full facelift. Even her forehead now has a fullness you don't get from drinking water alone. It's a carefully planned mix, not the overfilled look that screams plastic surgery, but exact enough to completely change the way light falls on her face. This kind of change isn't just about beauty trends, it's about control. Every spot of filler, every tweak to her nose or jaw changes how people see her. She's making a version of herself that looks more refined, more upper class, and the kind of face you might expect to see in a rich family portrait. And that kind of look doesn't happen naturally for someone from her background. It has to be created. Her public appearances are also starting to match this made-up image. The birthday restaurant choice might have been on purpose, but it ended up backfiring. Bunky's reputation as a trendy place is old news. And while the pasta might still be good, the buzz has moved on. The fact that the last famous sighting there was Kim Kardashian in October 2023 says a lot about how behind the trend it is. Choosing it might have been meant to show exclusivity, but instead it looked like she was chasing a scene that's already gone. The guest list sent the same message in a life that's supposed to be full of big connections. Only a few were seen, and the photos seemed arranged to keep them unclear. One picture even hid a guest completely behind a candle, as if that person wasn't meant to be part of the story. People are guessing about who these guests were. Marcus Anderson's name comes up, and Abigail Spencer's too. But what stood out more was the absence of her closest family and her husband. And then there's the style of the birthday messages. Abigail Spencer called her champagne in human form, and a creature unlike any other, phrases that feel more like advertising than friendship. Another friend's message checked all the PR boxes, mentioning her Netflix show's new season, praising her generosity, saying she's love and light, but didn't say anything about actually spending time with her. It's all shiny on the outside, perfect for the brand, but missing the personal feeling you'd expect from real friends. All of this fits a pattern. The places are chosen carefully, the people are few, and the words about her feel planned. It's a life where the image is more important than the real thing, where looks, both physical and social, are changed until they match the story you want to tell. The irony is, in trying so hard to make this perfect, untouchable version of herself, she's made the empty spaces in her life even easier to see. The sharper her jawline gets, the blurrier her real relationships seem. The main question is whether these changes are about insecurity, strategy, or both. There's a kind of desperation in constantly changing the outside, like a better nose or a sharper jawline could change the public's opinion. It's the thinking of someone who believes people will accept them for their looks instead of their true self. The problem is, chasing perfect looks often makes the insecurities more obvious. When every photo is planned, every moment staged, it creates a wall between the person and the people they want to connect with. Public figures who overcontrol their image risk losing the realness that makes people relate to them. In her case, the polish has cost her warmth. There are no candid moments, no quick laughs caught by surprise, no casual group photos without perfect lighting, making it harder to see her as anything but a brand. And a brand can be admired, even envied, but it's rarely loved. That missing love, the real kind that can't be bought or shaped, seems to be what she's been chasing through all these cosmetic changes. The lack of close family adds to the feeling of isolation. People can understand family issues, even falling out, but when the strongest ties seem cut with no reason given, it leaves a gap. Her dad is clearly out of the picture. Her mom, once always by her side, is now missing. The kids, who could have been the heart of any birthday, were not there. Even her husband's presence is unclear, only hinted at with no photos together. In a time when even private celebrities share bits of their close circle, that kind of silence says a lot. For someone who once seemed relatable and down-to-earth, the move toward exclusivity has been big. Now the gatherings feel less like celebrations and more like PR events. Guests have their own brands to promote, and the interactions look like mutual networking instead of real friendship. The restaurant choice, the carefully worded messages, the perfect photo angles, all are part of a game where appearance is everything. The cosmetic work fits right into this plan. By changing features that linked her to her family roots, she's not just improving her look, she's rewriting the visual story of her past. The Markle nose from her dad was a real tie to her history, one she used to be proud of. Its removal is symbolic of a bigger erasing, a removal of anything that doesn't match the high-class image she wants. This isn't unusual for famous people, but the speed and amount of her changes make it stand out. What's left is a version of her caught between two worlds. She's shaped herself to look like she belongs in wealthy, powerful circles, but the social status that usually comes with that look still seems out of reach. The rooftop tables are still out of bounds. The big A-list parties are rare. The admiration she seems to want from certain groups is polite but distant. It's a space where the look says exclusive, but the reality suggests something less secure. If the goal was to be untouchable, she's done it, but maybe in the wrong way. Untouchable in beauty, yes, but also untouchable in the sense that fewer people are truly close to her. The edges of her life, like the edges of her face, have been sharpened, defined, and perfected. But perfection can feel cold. And in trying to create an image with no flaws, she may have also removed the space for the kind of real connection that can't be planned.